our world runs on money. Like we are born, we come out the womb, right away, the doctor at the hospital is like, get to work. We just begin existing and we begin working. Earliest memory I have, it's like, get into kindergarten and solve this puzzle. And that just goes on forever, unless you're like born into wealth. It's a crazy topic because like everything's for money. What, you're just gonna exist like a house cat? Like every breath you take costs money. You want to put one foot in front of the other, that's $5 per foot. Leaving your house, $120 immediately. I didn't create the rules. That's just how it is. So it's really hard, like, unprogramming ourselves from that. It was for me because everything I did, I'm like, if this doesn't lead to cash, then what the fuck am I doing it for? The only exception I would say is when I was really like early 20s, I would make friends that was just about hanging out, the vibe, joking around. And that existed for a little bit. But my whole life, this has been kind of one of those counterintuitive ideas where through chasing money, I paradoxically never got it because everything was about, well, I need to make a living. And when I say chasing money, by the way, I want to clarify, I'm not trying to buy 4 yachts. We're not talking like an Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos type of thing. We're talking like having enough income that I could just live a modest, normal life. Like that was it. Not even aiming high here, just some level of freedom and autonomy. And that's what led me to starting my first business 12 years ago. I wasn't trying to like start the next Google. I was just like, let me do this like meal delivery company because at the time, the city I live in, Toronto, didn't really have a lot of good like food delivery services. This was before Uber Eats came into town and all like the meal prep companies that existed, they were very old fashioned. You had to like email them, tell them the meals you wanted. Like there was no platform or app that could do that. So me and my roommate were like, oh, this could be an easy opportunity. Like we eat food, other people eat food, I think. Let's do a food business. And on the surface, that seems innocent because like, yeah, we're not trying to like drill for oil or like get into human trafficking. Like we're just doing like a humble, modest food business. See, the problem is underneath that, it was still mostly just for money. We were not passionate food people. We were not cooks. We just kind of saw it as a way to make a buck. And here's the thing that I would want myself back then to know is the thing with doing something just for money is the moment it gets hard, you're going to quit. And it is going to get hard. Like anything you do that is semi-competitive, a career or a business or a form of self-employment, someone else had that same idea. We're not the only ones trying to pay rent. And sure enough, with this food business, there was a point 2 years in where we were doing okay. We were doing pretty good. Like we were on Dragon's Den. We were offered money. We declined it. And then we had an issue with our fridges that were used to like store all our meals. And basically it would have cost like a couple $100,000 to fix this issue. Like we were just in a tight spot. We couldn't fix it right away. We couldn't stop production to put everything on hold and make no money because we were running so lean. We turned down the money they offered us on the Shark Tank show. Because our heart was never really in it, we kind of just shut the whole thing down. Like we just couldn't keep going at the rate we were going, even though we were doing pretty okay. It's just we would have had to go into debt to do it. And this is kind of my point is the people that really want to do something, not just to make a buck, but because like that's their life, is they will basically ruin their life to try to pursue that. Like anyone who's gotten anywhere at some point would forego stability, sanity, a home, a family, all these things to try to do their thing. And because I was just doing a thing for money, like the first major roadblock, I'm like, that's what it was like. But like a person who is passionate about food would probably like bankrupt themselves trying to make it happen. Like every time you hear a story about a guy who opened a food truck or a restaurant, they're like, I maxed out my credit cards. I was down to my last $7. But say it does get hard and you push through it. Because maybe you're like, well, it's going to be hard, so I'm just going to do it anyway. And I'm going to like grip my teeth and just white knuckle it. The problem with that is that the quality of your work is going to be mediocre. You're going to lose to more passionate, authentic people. And what that makes me think of is many years ago, I was into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was working at a Jiu-Jitsu gym. I was like teaching beginners classes. I was training a lot and I was starting to compete. And for me, competition was interesting. It was like a way to challenge myself. I did a handful of tournaments. Like I won a couple, I lost a couple, and it was good. Like nothing wrong with like putting yourself out there, trying to like test yourself. But I was kind of at a fork in the road. I was getting older and I'm like, is this going to be my life? Like, am I going to be kind of trying to compete, but kind of trying to do other things and like going out and partying? Like, where am I going to take this? It's basically what I thought. And again, that like money thing started sneaking into my head. Like, well, I could just kind of do this for money. I could like teach beginners classes and teach private lessons for money and just kind of get by and just kind of do this as a gig. And that worked for a little bit, but the same problem is there, which is when I did compete, I would get like clobbered by people whose whole life was jujitsu. I'm talking every single day, wake up, train, eat right, recover. They don't go out, they don't party, they don't drink. These are people that would like give up everything to do well competitively. They maybe wanted to go to the highest level there is. Maybe they wanted to fight in the UFC or at least be a professional grappler. And I was just kind of a guy that fell into it, that liked training and liked hanging out, but also liked going out for beers after training. And it's like, how am I going to compete with the guy who just like wakes up locked in, just ready to kill people? He's not even thinking about the beers after training. After training, he's going home and like watching tape and studying and drilling and doing whatever else I knew people did. So just through starting to compete, even at like a very low level, like a city level or provincial level, I was like, oh, there's people here that like want to kill me. Someone just uncaged these animals, let them out on the mats, and here they are. And I'm just kind of like a guy who did it as a hobby. So I feel like this applies to everything, like any pursuit, any career, any business. It's like, if we're just doing it to make a buck, that's one thing. But then when we have to push, our push is going to be, it's going to be like a little kitten trying to push something compared to someone that's like ready to run their head through a brick wall. We're kind of setting ourselves up to lose. I also felt that when I used to try to do tech reviews on YouTube. Like I would see other people do them. I'm like, oh, that makes money. And like, let me just start like reviewing stuff, maybe make a couple of bucks. So, I'd review some camera gear stuff, a couple of phones, some audio stuff. And same problem as my jujitsu problem. The people that were the best at reviewing stuff, like they knew these devices in and out. They lived and breathed tech. Like these are the best people. The people that actually made it. Like they would wake up and they're like excited to try the new camera. And I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, a new camera. I guess it's a camera and I have one. So let me like learn about it and just regurgitate that on screen. The reason I say this whole topic is crazy because it gets people real defensive, because every genius is like, well, yeah, you need money to live. I get that. I exist just like everybody else. But if we just need money, then we should just be honest and direct about it. Like, I'm just going to get a job for money to pay rent. Like, I'm not going to kind of do a thing that I like and pretend I like it more than I do so that it makes me money. Like, at that point, it's just clear cut. This is for money and this is because I like it. And maybe the thing that I do that I actually enjoy will one day make me money. But if I begin with that thing and try to like squeeze it to make money out of it, it just has never worked out for me. Another way this topic gets people riled up is they get stuck in like what we ought to do as people, what we should do. And for me, sometimes the word should is like the worst word in the English language. Like I do my best to reduce the amount of times I say the word should, because people get stuck thinking, well, I should do this with my life. And I had a friend of mine saying that people should do things that the world needs. But the problem with this thinking is, who's to say we're qualified to even do what the world needs? Like, who came down from the heavens and went like, me, I'm going to solve this crisis or this problem? Like, it's just such a egotistical way of looking at the world, because all we can really do is what we can, what we're good at, what we like, that then hopefully fits into the world somehow. I'm hearing this a lot now, because if you read the news, it's like a lot of white collar workers are getting laid off. And there's a lot of people kind of condescendingly saying, well, you should just go into trades. You should go be a plumber. And then I read this article from a guy who takes on a lot of apprentices in his plumber business. And he's like, please stop sending shitty plumbers my way. These are people that were told they should be plumbers because, again, it makes a buck, and they do not give a fuck about plumbing or whatever trade they're in. And now the world has thousands of shitty plumbers. The world doesn't need more of a shitty profession. It needs people that actually care about what they do. And that could be anything. And like, look, I get not everything makes money. Like I knew a guy who collected yo-yos. I get that doesn't make money. I mean, maybe if he started a YouTube channel and it connected with thousands of other people who are into high-end yo-yos, then yeah, it could work out. Like, you never know. This is my point, is when we do stuff we don't care about, we lose to people that just care harder than us. They're hard carers. And if you don't care hard, like, don't even bother, because you're not going to stand a chance against a guy or girl who's like, this is going to be my life, or this is my life. So say you push through and did the thing for money, and then you're like super disciplined somehow via magic, or like you had a brain chip inserted that made you that way, and you do a good job. Now what? The final problem is the people I've seen that have done that just end up feeling trapped in the thing that they now like muscled their way into. And that happened to me when I had a semi-successful pet YouTube channel. Like I started it because I'm like, oh, pet channels do well. I have pets. Let me make pet YouTube videos. And they did. Like my first video got almost 1 million views. I've had videos after that got hundreds of thousands of views. Like it started making some money. It was all going well. And then it got really hard because like it's hard to make your pet do interesting things every day. You have to try harder and harder and work more and more to just make better videos. And I did. I pushed through. I'm like, well, I like pets and I like YouTube, so let me just push through and do this. So then I found myself trapped in a pet channel that was doing okay, but I didn't particularly care to keep doing it. I wasn't overly passionate about pets. I just have pets and I love them, but it's not like I came out the womb being like, I'm going to be a pet YouTuber. And eventually I ended up quitting because I'm like, yeah, I didn't really get into making videos to just point a camera at my cat's head all day. So I think like a lot of us get tricked. Like we start a thing for money, and then if it actually starts doing okay, we're like, well, I guess this is it. And that's how people get stuck in careers and in businesses where they're like, I don't know what else to do, but I want the money. And I've already sunk so much time into this that I'm just going to keep doing it. I think a lot of times when people are good at something, they think that they have to keep doing it, even if they don't enjoy it, because they should just be happy to be good at something. Like it's not easy getting good at stuff. As soon as you start talking about this stuff, it will make a lot of people reactive because maybe they are in jobs they hate and they want you to be miserable too. So they don't want people to figure out what kind of work they want to do because they're miserable in their jobs. They're going to be like, well, if I'm miserable, I want everyone else to be unhappy with their work. But it's like Steve Jobs said, like we spend half our waking time at least working. Like it may as well be something we care about. And it's not even about the money. Like I'm more than happy to make minimum wage doing something I like than to make like a 6-figure salary doing some shitty corporate thing I used to do that I hated. Because it's easier for me to figure out how to live on less money when I like my work than it is for me to figure out how to be happy doing a thing I hate but getting more money. And I know that's not true for everyone. Some people are like, just give me the fucking money, man. Just shut the fuck up and give me the money. And maybe they have to go through that. Everyone's on their own path. Maybe they got to go through years of getting paid and pushing down their emotions and kind of ignoring their inner voice before they're like, yeah, fuck this salary and fuck this job. Like, I don't know. Everyone's on their own timeline. I think at the end of the day, money is just a byproduct of doing good work that you like. I'm not trying to like just repeat cliches and stereotypes at you. Like people say like, oh, do what you love, do what you're passionate about. When you love what you do, you don't have to work a day in your life. Like blah, blah, blah. I don't even think the word love should be attached to it. Like we should at least, I used the word should. I think it's good for us to at least be interested and invested in the thing that we do and like want to develop our craft and get better and not just be doing it to get the next paycheck or the next sale, because that can work for a while. And then if we do that our whole life, one day it stops working and we're like, I don't know what else to do because I've only ever done it for money. And for some of us, like doing what we enjoy or what we appreciate isn't even a choice. It's like a non-negotiable. And that's what happened to me. Like I just try to coast by these jobs, telling myself that something better is coming later, but not really working towards that. It wasn't until like 6 years ago I started working at this, like making videos, doing podcasts, that I felt like I was at least working towards something. I was improving my skills at something I care about, like speaking on camera, sharing my thoughts, ideas, and not just like moving a mouse on a computer screen, like clicking around on things and sitting in meetings and doing shit that I could do for 40 years and not feel like I've grown in any way. So if I was to share advice, if I was to like try to tell myself this many years ago, I'd be like, just do the thing that you think is meaningful to you. because there's no point thinking about what the world needs, because like I said, who says we're even qualified to solve these world problems? Like, just start with trying to solve your own shit.